topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Hello and welcome to Fearless Fabulous You. I am your host, Melanie Young, and I love helping women like you make confident decisions about their lives, to live it on their terms and hopefully not get scammed, which is what we're going to talk about today. I can't stand scammers. What about you? I don't like being scammed. I've been scammed. I don't like people who scam. And it just seems like right now the world of business is just filled with scammers, and they target people, particularly women of a certain age. They target the elderly. They target, I think, women more than men. I don't know about that. I don't have the stats, but I just feel it. And we're going to talk about that today, but we're going to talk about it in a very productive way, because what we're going to talk about actually is another big problem that many of us have. Many of us, including me, I've been there, and many of my friends are having to clean out their elderly parents' house after they have sadly either downsized and moved into assisted living, or maybe they've deceased. But I think I have a conversation every week with someone who says, oh my God, I have to deal with my mother's or father's home and all the stuff in it. I had this conversation yesterday with a friend who's executor of an estate. And the big question is, there's all this jewelry. I don't know what to do. And then there's the third thing. Right now, a lot of us may be trying to make ends meet. Maybe we are trying to downsize ourselves. Maybe we want to take advantage of the amazing escalating prices of gold right now and cash in. The thing is, many of us don't know how to go about doing it, and we are potentially victims of getting scammed. And as I said, scammers are among us. We're going to talk today with an expert in a kind of a new-ish company called Unvault. She is Navya Reddy is the co-founder of Unvault, and we're going to talk to her about how to get the best value out of selling your jewelry. Like, I have sold some of my mother's jewelry. I've sold jewelry over the years. I probably didn't. Sometimes I think I made the best decision. Sometimes maybe I didn't. I think a lot of it is that many of us are selling under duress and we move too quickly. So this show is intended to, one, help you identify opportunities for selling your jewelry. Two, how to do it wisely and not get scammed and get the best value out of it. And three, how to recognize red flags that there may be someone scamming you if you are trying to sell. So when you're going to get out of the show is hopefully better intelligence and confidence if you make the decision to sell your jewelry now or in the future. So I'm going to introduce our guest, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about her and her company. So, Navya Reddy, welcome to Fearless Fabulous You.
Hi, thank you for having us. Thank you.
So, first, tell us a little bit about you. What is your background, and how did you get into this end of the business? Because most of my guests don't start out in this. They go into it because they see a need or had an experience.
So, a little bit about me. I'm Navya. I have been a career product manager. I started my career in the banking. I was at Deutsche Bank for about 6 years, and then worked in great growth companies like DoorDash, learned how to build a business ground up, like what it needs to scale. And now we are building Unvault. And to your point on how we got here, we got here by observing the problem, right? When we think about jewelry, what we see customers facing is just information asymmetry. They don't understand what the jewelry is worth. And there's a very icky way of knowing what the jewelry is worth today. That means you either have to go to a pawn shop or you have to work with cash for gold kind of establishments, and nobody enjoys that experience. And hence it has become such a big threshold for people to cross to understand what jewelry that they have and what is the worth of the jewelry. We wanted to solve this problem by providing radical transparency through our platform. And when you think about unvault.co, the way I want the users to think about it is it's like Robinhood for jewelry. If you have a stock, you track it, right? You add it to your portfolio, you track it every day. Gold has outperformed S&P in the last 20 years. We want customers to actually understand value of their jewelry in a similar way. So with advancement of technology, with advancement of AI vision, we are able to provide you that service. So what Unvault is with few pictures and some information, we are able to give you an estimate of what that jewelry is worth right from the comfort of your own home. And you get to track it. You get to add to the portfolio, you track it. Gold moves every day, value of your jewelry moves every day. And if you decide to sell it, we are able to help you sell it. So and the ethos behind the company is, how do we provide radical transparency in a space that is so opaque to users? Nobody shares the right information, the right kind of breakdown of why your jewelry is worth what. And that is what we want to bring to the users.
Well, as I said, a lot of people inherit jewelry, and they're selling under duress because they're usually liquidating an estate, which is very stressful. I did that with my mother's. I also liquidated my own home when I sold everything and most of my possessions. A lot of people are doing it because they have a financial need. They're desperate. I want to just say, I did go to unvault.co. I did a sample with a set of jewelry, and I think the estimate came back about $1,171 for a set of amethyst earrings with a pearl and a necklace. Now, I am the person that does believe, and I have done shows on this, of the importance of having your fine jewelry appraised. It can get pricey, but if you're planning to wear it and go out, or you want to insure it, you must have current appraisal. So I have not had time to compare the estimate that Unvault gave me to my appraisal, which is going to be obviously high because it's for replacement value. Yes. But it is something that I found very easy to do. At the end of this show, there's a little video which will show a little bit more, but really this is about understanding how to do it and how to avoid any red flags. You mentioned cash for gold. You mentioned pawn shops. For me, those are the bottom feeders of the industry. There are resellers. There are people selling jewelry. I'm going to go over all the ways people are selling jewelry now. And then I want you to say which ones are probably not the best. Aside, you take your Unvault. Okay, there's people selling on eBay and Real and those kinds of sites. There are people selling on Facebook Marketplace. There are people who, go to a jeweler and say, here, what are you going to give me for that? There's the places in New York, like Circa and some of those others where they go. What are the red flag, without saying anyone's, what are the pros and cons of some of those?
Yeah. So the way to think about it is as you mentioned, there are lots of platforms that help you sell your jewelry. And the way I would think about it is in two dimensions, right? The value that you get from this platform, and how long do you have to wait before you get the value for the money? because those are two dimensions that are very important when you're trying to get cash or get some liquidity on the jewelry that you have. The reselling platforms that we have, where you have to list and consign your jewelry, the reason is that you might get higher value of your jewelry from such platforms, but you have to wait for a long time. You have to wait for a right user to come in to like your jewelry, and sometimes people list their jewelry for 6 months without seeing an active sale happen on
or 2 years, like me,
or 2 years. And then there are other outfits where you actually get the value quicker, but they are also capitalizing on the need of you needing immediate cash. And this is where if you know what it is worth, you have all the information the other party has about the jewelry. And that is very important. Walking into these outfits without knowing the information is handicapping yourself, right? Like, you want to be in a position to question the right thing. It's like, how much gold is in it, right? Like, you should always ask that question when you're trying to sell, and because that's where the majority of the value is. And gold is as liquid as an asset can be. So you should know what the today's price is and compute and empower yourself before you make that decision.
Well, also, I think, let's start with the psychology of selling, because people can, you need to understand, why are you selling the jewelry today? Yeah. Why are you selling it today? And this is kind of like what or is there a need? Are you financially in a situation where you must sell this jewelry? Maybe you need to settle a estate. Maybe you're in debt. Whatever that reason, you need to understand that. But you also have to understand that buyers sense desperation. And if they sense desperation, that's where you run the risk of going somewhere where you'll get lowballed and you won't do your homework. You won't get different estimates. So you need to, even if you are, I'm going to do 3 different types of sellers. Even if you're desperate, you must have the money. Do your homework. 2, maybe you have too much. Maybe you're tired of insuring all that jewelry. Because I can tell you, I spent the money. I actually did a great deal with the guy who's been on my show. He did appraisals for me. We did some barter podcast. It was great. Love him to death, Ed. And then I had to go to Jewelers Mutual, where I do my insurance, because that's very reputable. And I have no skin in the game, but I did the homework, and that's expensive. It adds up. Yeah. So then you decide, do I really want to pay all this insurance to insure fine jewelry that I never wear? It just sits in a vault. It sits in a safety deposit box. Or should I cash in now and use that money to invest in something else? The third is, as I've said, somebody dies, you don't want the stuff, you're at the end of your life, you just say, I'm done. Yeah. But you have to first understand, why are you selling the jewelry? And as you said, what is my time frame? So with Unvault, how does Unvault work? Like, let's say I'm coming to Unvault. I put the photo in. I get the estimate. I got my estimate for $1,171 yesterday. What's next?
So with Unvault, you can track it in a portfolio. But that's just, as you said, be prepared, right? Know the value. Don't wait for the time that you desperately need cash. Right. Let's start today. Let's start the journey today of understanding the value that you're holding. And if you wish to sell some of the pieces, we help you kind of liquidate it. And what that means is, as soon as the piece, we want you to pack them in a safe way and ship it to our location in New York. We are based in Diamond District. And everything we do after is done very transparently. Every desk has 4 cameras. So you see what we see, right from us unboxing the package. You can see how we are assessing the gold, how we test it. You can see everything there, the weight of it, the way we test gemstones. Everything is available for you. And this is not when you ask, we just give it. Like with the offer, you actually get the video and the description of the pieces in a form of a PDF. And and we give you a final offer based on what the actual assessment is. And if you like the offer, we pay you next day or the same day or next day. And given we are in Diamond District, we either melt it for some of the pieces, but some of the pieces we have partnerships through our distributors, different different estate buyers and different resellers, and we try to get the best price for you. So if there is a price for a reselling market for your piece, we pass it back to the customer. And this doesn't take long. It happens very quickly. It happens within 24 hours of we receiving the piece that we are able to figure out what's the best price, and we give that offer back to the customer.
So here are a couple of questions. And as I said, Navya, I've sold through Fabricant. I've gone to Circa. I used to live in New York, and I've sold at auction.
Yeah,
I've done all of it. So, and I've sold on Facebook Marketplace and eBay. And my jeweler. So here's the thing. If you give the customer an estimate, is there an opportunity that once you go to the reseller, that estimate can go higher or lower once you have a buyer? And how you said somebody gets, this is where I'm a little confused. You said you get paid like the next day or two. But if you're still talking to resellers, and tell me, why would I get paid in 2 days when that price may go up?
So we do all that process before we give you an offer. So we are very quick with our turnarounds and our distribution channels are established. So we do all that talking for you and trying to understand the price of the piece before we give you a final offer. So you don't have to wait for days in order to understand what the price is.
So it could take how long?
Our turnaround time is typically 24 to 48 hours for us to test. And
that seems really short amount of time. So I think something I sold of considerable value took about a week. I still wonder, we'll get into the selling fees in a minute. Because, for anyone who hasn't sold jewelry and is thinking about it, you can get cash on the spot. If you really need cash on the spot, or let's say you have bits and pieces of jewelry, and we're going to get into that. I'll go with a suitcase of stuff and they'll just sit there and go through it. And sometimes I'm like, I had no idea, right? And then sometimes I'm like, but we'll get into that. You don't know what you have until you go to someone. So wherever you live, if you really just want to get rid of what we call unsellable stuff, because you're not going to do the bits and pieces stuff, find someone that, ask around, get referrals, and find someone that everyone trusts and goes to and make that your go-to person. I don't believe in, I'm not a pawn shop girl. I want to find someone who really, because everybody says they're going to get you the best price. But at the end of the day, as you said, gold prices are on their exchange. You know what they are every day. Do your homework, right? But in your case, you talk to resellers and tell me and then you come back and say, this is the best price I can get you. And it could be better than what you could do going to We Buy Gold, right?
There are two things here. So as you said, I think we're going to get into it, but there's the intrinsic value of what the jewelry is, right? Like there is a lot of pieces that are inherited. They have a lot of gold in it. So when you weigh the gold and when you think about it as gold, we weigh it and we give you the price as is, right? Like we tell you this is how many grams this gold is, and hence the price is this. And the other thing to think about is the platform fee, right? Like every service provider that is going to give you a cash is going to charge different fees. Mm-hmm. And that's where we differ. Our platform fees are much lower than compared to all the other outfits. And especially if you go to like a pawn shop or a local jeweler, those values are really high. So when you're thinking about it, think about it as two different things. One is the intrinsic value. What is the actual value of the jewelry that it is? And Unvault can help you understand that very clearly. And the second is second is when you're liquidating, know what you're paying for, right? Know what you're getting back. And that's a very important thing to look at, because at the end of the day, that is what you're getting back. It's the it's the value of your jewelry minus the platform fee, and that's what you should look to maximize.
I think that's important. It's also something else to consider. And it was interesting to me. There's gold filled, there's gold plated, there's gold filigree. So let's talk about that, because gold has different forms. There's also 24 karat, 10 karat, 14 karat. What's bringing the highest? What should you know about that in terms of value, and what brings the highest value? But don't forget about this, because it may have a little bit of gold in it.
Yeah. So as you rightly said, the gold jewelry is made in different forms, right? Like the one that has most precious metals is gold filled, and
filled. Okay.
So gold filled, pure gold, like that's essentially
pure gold.
Gold filled is the wrong word. Solid gold. Solid gold jewelry.
And I think it's 24 karat, correct?
And as the carat goes, like 24 karat is 100% gold, like 99.9% gold. And as the gold carat decreases, the percentage of gold in that metal composite reduces.
Right.
So that's one thing to think about. And that's where the majority of the value of the jewelry lies. So a solid gold jewelry will have higher value, higher percentage of gold, will have higher value. And you should definitely pay more attention to that. And what the other ones are gold filled and vermeil. They have the way to think about it is they have like a few microns coating of gold on the base metal, and the base metal can be silver or brass. Mm-hmm. These pieces have what we call less of an intrinsic value, because they are not made of precious metals. Right. May not have valuable gemstones in them. But and platforms that are peer-to-peer sales are better with these pieces. But if you go to a jeweler or you try to value those pieces at Unvault, the value where we are trying to understand the intrinsic value of the jewelry and help you understand the intrinsic value of the jewelry, solid gold pieces are better.
So that's where you want to talk to someone. I mean, for me, I talked to my appraiser, but again, it was a significant investment. But if not, this is where Unvault can help. And I am not paid by Unvault, so I'm talking just as a consumer. But I think this is interesting because I just know so many people that are dealing with this. Now, so gold filled is, as I understand, has more value than gold plate or gold filigree. But what's important, a couple things from my experience, is every little bit and piece matters. Like if your gold chain breaks or something, get it done. The other thing is, if you're going to talk to somebody they're buying just for the gold, that beautiful piece that you think is stunning and has lots of little gemstones in it, get the gemstones taken out, because you don't want to, if they're just going to sell the gold, buy the gold to sell the gold, you want the gemstones back at least. Don't you agree? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
So when we assess gemstones, we assess gemstones by themselves, right? Like we value the gold in the piece and we value the gemstones, and we give you an offer, combined offer. Okay. And gemstones have very different value. So we try and understand what the piece is, like how is it constructed, and then determine the value of the gem and give you the offer.
So I have a question. So I had amethyst valued, amethyst pearl. Are there, we all know diamonds, particularly, the highest at natural, are of great intrinsic value. But are there other pieces, or let's talk about stones, since you're part of that?
Yeah.
Gold aside, we kind of covered gold. Are there stones that may have more intrinsic value than others based on what you're seeing in the resale market? And that's question one. And question two, can someone who just has loose stones, sizable loose stones, go to Unvault? And is that also something you will assist with them in terms of selling?
Yeah. So stones like ruby, sapphire, emeralds, and tourmaline. Now,
Tourmaline.
Periba tourmaline is like a very rare stone, has a lot of value. So these are some of like the semi-precious stones that are very valuable, could be valuable, and you should pay close attention to the value given to that stone. Of course, diamonds value, people tend to overestimate the value in diamonds, because retailers charge a premium when you're buying a diamond. You're already paying a 6x premium, a 5 to 6x premium when you're buying a diamond. And with the introduction of lab diamonds into the distribution, the value of the natural diamond has fallen significantly.
Wait, so it has fallen significantly. Why? Okay, let me understand that. With lab-grown diamonds have made the value of a natural diamond less. Why?
Because of the demand. Like people want to go for a more economically suitable option for the diamonds, which is...
So are lab-grown diamonds... I have this debate with my husband all the time. Are lab-grown diamonds real diamonds?
Composition-wise, they're exactly the same. It is where you get them from. Is it a mined diamond versus a lab-created diamond?
Well, if it says lab-grown, it's labbed. It says lab-grown. So how would a lab-grown be mined?
No, that's the whole difference. So the natural stone is a mined stone,
right?
And the lab-grown diamond is a lab-created stone.
So if you're going to Costco, which sells diamonds,
yeah,
Costco has a very nice little section of diamonds. Those are lab-grown diamonds, right? Yeah. So lab-grown diamonds are what you tend to see all over the marketplace right now, Facebook, eBay. You also have to be careful because sometimes it's moistened.
Yes, you have to be careful.
You have to, if you're going to buy something on the internet, get a certificate of authentication with it, an appraisal. Insist on that or don't buy it because you run the risk of it not being real. So lab-grown diamonds, they are a good investment, or are they not?
Lab-grown diamonds have limited resale value, as you can see on like Facebook Marketplace or any other platform. They have limited resale value.
Right.
But it also costs much less to buy a lab-grown diamond.
Yeah, a lot less.
Yeah. So it is definitely a thing to consider, right? Like it is a lot cheaper than a natural diamond. Natural diamond prices are falling. And so a lab-grown diamond is, we see a lot of like demand for engagement rings now moving to lab-grown diamonds, right? So it is economically wise choice for a lot of people.
So that's interesting. And I'm still digesting the pink tourmaline because I have a beautiful pink tourmaline ring. I think that certain color gemstones go in and out of fashion.
Yes.
I think over the time. How, we haven't talked about silver. I want to just talk about silver. How does it work with silver? You also work with silver.
Yeah.
How is silver doing right now? And obviously sterling is the sterling is the gold standard. What should you think about when selling your silver? And we talked before we went on the show that you focus, Unvault focuses on jewelry and not sterling silver flatware. But
we can help you assess with flatware as well. So
really?
The process with Unvault is very similar. Is like you click few photos, give us some information on what it is made of, and what we do is like we take the photos, we break that down and try and understand volumetrically how much precious metal is in there. And based on that, we give you an estimate. So if you have silverware, if you have plates of gold, you can upload it on Unvault and try and see what the estimate is. What you can do is put it on a kitchen scale to actually know and upload that picture. So your estimates become even more accurate because essentially it is the precious metal that is giving the value for the jewelry or silverware.
A lot of people are inheriting sterling silver and they don't want it.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to just quickly say when my mother's house was filled with silver things.
Yeah.
And we thought she was loaded with silver. And we were all excited because we could pay some of her living assistance. Most of it was silver plate.
Oh.
And that's worth zilcho. Okay, it's pretty. Is that worth? We use it to put like our toothbrush in. But sterling is valuable. Then you have to decide if you just want to sell the beautiful sterling silver set, the Tiffany sterling or whatever, or take it to auction. Now. You know, and I know, but I have had things sold at auction. Now, the auction houses list, I have Tiffany silver. It has a Y in it, so it makes it less valuable because it was engraved with a Y. But I've seen Tiffany silverware at auction for tens of thousands of dollars. Okay. However, what you see the auction value, this is really important. I know you're not auction house, but I just think it's important because versus like an Unvault. If you want to take something to auction, you need to be prepared to understand that the estimate price may not be the sell price. You need to make sure you have a reserve. You must have a reserve because they're going to start that bid a lot lower. And if you have a reserve, you may be disappointed. 2, you need to decide if the value of what they can potentially sell for is worth just going and getting it, taking it somewhere else, like the Unvault or somewhere, just selling it for the silver. And 3, it may not sell. And if it does, there is a seller fee and a buyer fee. So we're going to talk about the seller fee, which you should negotiate when you consign, because it's negotiable usually, particularly if you have multiple pieces, could be anywhere from 10 to 20%. Tell me if I'm wrong, but this is more or less depending on the house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. You should definitely negotiate that. Yeah.
So that is, and a lot of this other stuff is not, you can negotiate anywhere. So that's if you decide to go to auction, if you have something that's really, really, really valuable and you really, 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 really want to sell it as that. I sold a silver candelabra. It was quite beautiful. I found it behind the curtain. So when you're cleaning out your parents' house, everywhere could be something. I found a valuable ring in the bottom of a handbag. I thought it was costume jewelry. It was real. I also found one in a Tylenol box. Those were auctioned. That's how valuable they were. And I did okay. So with Unvault, which again, we've said is an easier way if you don't want to go through the hard stop of an auction, because I've also put things for auction that were rejected, which is hard. So if you don't want to go through that, you don't want to feel like you're going, you don't want to go what I call the skeevy route to just somebody just says, I'll buy your gold and silver, right? Just here's what you get. How does Unvault work in terms of its fees? Because as you said, there's a fee for everything.
Yes. So we have a 10 to 20% platform fee for the service that we do. And this
that's a selling fee, or is it a posting fee or a selling fee, or both?
It's all included, just one fee. So the fee is to help us kind of cover for the shipping cost, authentication costs, like the reselling cost. Yeah. So and this is very low compared to other platforms that you see. Like the fees can range from 40 to 60% if
For
you
like,
actually,
can you say like who, or do you know? I mean, like, where's 40%?
like if you
That
go
seems
to
like
pawn,
egregious.
if you go to pawn shop or
Oh.
like other cash for gold outfits, that actually goes up to 40 to 60%. So
Well, I think palm
those-
size is your last resort, right?
yes. So you should definitely know the value before you go, so that you understand what is the fee that they are charging you on top of that. And that's how you'll know how much is what you get paid and how much is the fee that they're charging.
And what were the fees again with Unvault?
10 to 20%.
10 to 20%. Okay. So if somebody just wants to know the value, like I did a test yesterday.
Yeah.
Is there a charge? What if somebody has 20 pieces? Can they just keep unloading them at Unvault and there's no charge for that? Because WorthPoint charges. You have to subscribe.
Evaluations are completely free.
Okay.
So you can create an account in Unvault for free, and you can safely upload your jewelry, create your own jewelry portfolio on Unvault, and all evaluations are free. And that's how you kind of know what your jewelry is worth and what your jewelry box is worth, right? Like you want to have a complete picture of what is in it. What is in it, and then you can have a very informed decision of the pieces that you want to part with because you're not wearing them, or even manage your collection better. So that's essentially the goal, and we want to we do it all for free, so you just upload and know your value.
So what other services does Unvault provide?
So right now we are very focused on solving the problem at hand, which is provide radical transparency to customers when it comes to jewelry, and also help them liquidate and get cash, the best out of the jewelry when they want to.
I think the key is for knowing when you want to sell. I mean, I'm sitting on a lot of jewelry I'm not wearing, and yet I'm not ready. I don't need the money yet, but when I need the money, I'm going to do it. But don't do it when you really need the money. Do it when you want to like have it. Maybe you just start wanting to take that money and invest it. Try not to sell when you're desperate.
Yeah.
How is artificial intelligence? I hate asking this question, but you got to ask it with everybody, because how is artificial intelligence changing this industry?
Well, it's giving like the transparency we didn't have before, right? Like with AI kind of vision models and like helping people break down the pieces, like computer is able to tell us like, hey, this is what your jewelry is worth, right? Like this is how much gold it could be, and this is how it's pretty good most of the times, right? Like it does a great job. And this is what appraisers ask you a large amount of money to pay for, is to just know the value, right? Like, and now AI is helping reduce that cost for the user, that you can get an estimate without actually taking the stuff out of your house. A lot of people, including me, I'm scared to take all of my jewelry and go somewhere, right? Like you don't want to be traveling with all of that. You don't, and that is what the convenience, what technology is able to provide you today, is like at your home, you click a few pictures, get a few details, and get an estimate.
So a couple of things. Great point. I use, at the cheapy end, this is what I learned doing an estate sale and reselling. Google Lens. I will Google Lens just to get the base, to find out what it is. And I do costume jewelry too. So, I know you're fine jewelry, but just for anything, Google Lens. I taught it to my nephew, my husband's nephew the other day. He went berserk. You can get, but don't rely on that. Then, there's places like Invaluable and WorthPoint. You can subscribe and they can tell you how much something sold for. Because the thing is, there's the value, and that is what it is sold for. And that's really important if you decide to sell on somewhere like eBay. You got to see what it's selling for. And that still doesn't tell the story, because it could sell for a lot less than the value just because, right?
Yeah. Yes. When historical sold prices are a very good reference of what the value is.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to think about is it gets especially tricky with pieces that are not designer pieces, right? Like
Right.
if you have inherited like a, a gold bracelet from your grandmom, you won't like Google Lens helps you is like if there are pieces that are in large distribution, designer pieces, common designs, then you get like a good estimate. But if there's a piece that is uniquely you or uniquely your grandmother's, it is very hard to get like an estimate or know what the value is. So you have to use different tools for different things. And as you said, users should try different tools, have their own mental framework of what the pieces are worth. And that's the kind of journey that we are trying to help customers live with. So we connect to a lot of different databases, we connect to real-time prices of gold and gemstones, and we want to get all that information to customers in one place, rather than them having to do multiple different kind of venues or tools, or even take something physically outside your home to try and estimate it. So want to reduce all that burden for the consumer.
Well, if you can find it, my appraiser does house calls. He lives in Connecticut. He schedules, and I love him. At OB Jeweler at the end, because he's great, because I have a lot of jewelry. But here's the interesting, I think it's great that you do gemstones, but I'm sitting on a lot of gemstones. I'm trying to figure out what to do with. You don't know where to sell gemstones. I think it's important. There are so many tools out there to sell your fine jewelry. And we're talking about fine. Just on a side, there's also, even though you don't do it, costume jewelry can have some great intrinsic value. There's a big resale market. So do your homework there as well. It's amazing. Silver, it breaks my heart when I hear somebody inherited silver and they just went and had it all melted down because they didn't care. Maybe they did their homework. Don't rush it. Sterling can bring in some good money. I think everybody needs to understand, and I hope you agree, Nadia, there's intrinsic value and there's sentimental value.
Yes.
And you need to decide, like I have a lot of jewelry. I haven't sold it. I've sold some jewelry. I have a lot left. I don't necessarily wear it, but it has sentimental value and intrinsic value. When the day comes for me or anyone out there listening or watching, there will be a day where you will have to make that decision. Why do I have all this jewelry? What am I doing with it? Can I use the money for other purposes? Invest, put away for my children, my grandchildren, pay off a bill, whatever. It's a highly personal decision, but it's important to work with people you trust to help you liquidate your jewelry, because the scammers are out there and there are just a lot of low ballers. And just don't do it from a point of desperation. Do it from a point of having an advantage. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Empower yourself with as much data as you can and as much information as you can about your jewelry. And that is power. That is.
Where do you see this business going? I mean, how old is Unvault, and where do you see this business industry going?
Unvault started last year, and and we have about 50,000 pieces that have been appraised on our platform, about $70 million worth of pieces that have been appraised. So it's growing, and it's I think what is the thing to, like, what gives me and Nidhi joy every day is that we are solving a real problem for the customer. Customers are sitting with thousands of dollars sitting idle. As you said, there are pieces that you don't want to wear, right? Like, or the pieces that are, you grew out of it, right? There are designs that you grew out of it. There are pieces that you have inherited. Men have inherited jewelry from their families that they don't know what to do. They have no use for it. And we want users to know, and like we want to solve that problem is like there's real asset, there's real dollars that are actually tucked away. We want everybody to treat jewelry and gold that they have similar to what they would do for stocks. You have a Robinhood portfolio, you track it every day, you get alerts.
Right.
You should do the same with the thousands of dollars that you have in the so that's the problem that we are very excited to solve for our customers. And we hear stories from our customers on how how Unvault has helped them through different phases in their life, different life events that they needed help with. And that is what brings us joy, that we actually are able to help customers, and we are making a difference in someone's life. And that's very exciting for us.
I think it's really exciting. I mean, as someone who has sold a lot of jewelry, has a lot of jewelry, I'm blessed. I know that day is coming for me. I'm just not there, but I'm going to just make this huge plea that if you do have fine jewelry, please make a list of it, know where it all is, have a way to take it out if you are going to have to evacuate your home. I live in Louisiana. We think about this all the time. Know where everything is. Have a detailed list. If you have appraisals, have them online. If you can afford, even if you can afford, try to get the most valuable pieces or the ones you wear outside the house or travel with every day. Get them appraised and get them insured. You're going to make choices, because I can't even get into how much my appraisal, if I got everything insured. So I have everything locked away. But do that at least, because if your house burns down or you have to evacuate, you will be heartbroken. But when you're ready to sell, and that day will come, first have a talk with your kids, your grandkids, see what they want anything. Don't go selling it till you talk to them. But if you don't, make that decision and don't regret it. But do try to find and work with companies like Unvault and other company, trusted services, so that you don't get scammed, because it breaks my heart. And like I said from the beginning, people work from a point of desperation and frustration, and they don't know what they're doing. And an informed seller and buyer is going to get the best price. I really enjoyed talking to you today. I really do. I hope the company does well. It's a crazy market, a crazy industry, but a very exciting one. So, Navya, I want to thank you again for joining me in this Unvault Co. We're going to show a quick video at the end just to kind of give you a visual. But I want to thank you, and also just remember, I do this show out of love. I do this show. I don't have any skin in the game with your company, but I do this because I don't want you to get scammed. I've been scammed. I've had to sell my jewelry out of need, out of want, and desire. I also have a lot that I'm keeping. It's so important to be informed and educated before you do anything in life that involves a major decision.
100% agree. And we are here to help.
Yeah, and get people you trust to help you. I hope that's helpful for everybody out there in any aspect of your life, not just jewelry, but your health, your insurance, you name it, because it breaks my heart when I find that somebody made a bad decision and got hurt by it. I don't want that to happen. So I'm Melanie. I'm this Fearless Fabulous You. Thank you again for joining me. Juan, my engineer, let's just put up that little visual. We have it, and we can show that at the end so you can get an idea of how it works. I love the tattoos. So right here, you're showing, this is obviously video, we have an audio show, but they're evaluating the pieces in some fancy machine, right?
Yes, this is our authentication process with all the machines, all the weighing scales, all the machines that we're using for testing to give you the accurate estimate. And
you really want that. I mean, it's so important. Meanwhile, I have a little rolling suitcase for my go bag if we evacuate. But I have the bits and pieces. I'm just going to add one last thing. If you go to a jeweler and you need something sized or adjusted, like I had a diamond necklace made into a bracelet. Make sure you get the pieces that are left back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And make sure that if you're having a ring stone trend, just make sure it's the stone that you get back is the stone you delivered, because there are some scummy people out there who exchange stones. So do your homework. Don't just leave it. Watch, unless you know the people, don't leave your jewelry. Be there and watch everything, and always ask for the bits. I had a Mickey Moto jewelry bracelet. She said, "Should I change the?" I needed its size, and I said, "I want the pearls back that you're taking off." Yeah. She said, "Well, do you mind what if we just got you another clasp?" I'm like, "No." That's a 14 karat gold Mickey Mouse part of the piece, yes. Right?
Absolutely.
No, keeping everything intact.
Yeah.
And it starts with knowing value. So I got it back with my gold clasp and my pearls, but somebody could have, Anyway,
always get your gold back. Always
get your gold and silver and gems back, even if they're teensy. I have a bag of those, like every bits and pieces of stones. But eventually, I'm gonna send some to you guys and see.
Yeah, put it on a scale, and then you'll know the value of what it is, and we can measure it and send you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you again for joining me. And as always, you have many choices in life. Always choose fearless and fabulous, and don't let anyone put pressure on you to do something that makes you uncomfortable and makes you below your worth or your value of what you own. Make confident choices before you move forward, and always choose to live life on your terms with fearless, fabulous intention. Thank you.
Thank you.